President Trump in New Hampshire this afternoon talking about, well, everything he wants to do for America and a little bit about Joe Biden.
Going to be a major announcement. Are you ready? Is everybody ready? I will be retiring the name Crooked from Hillary Clinton and her moniker. And I'm going to give her a new name. I don't know, like maybe Lovely Hillary or Beautiful Hillary. But I'm going to retire the name Crooked so that we can use the name for Joe Biden, because he'll be known from now on as Crooked Joe Biden. You would think that Hillary would be very happy today. She's out there someplace celebrating. Because there's never been anyone in the history of American politics so crooked or dishonest as Joe Biden.
Crooked Joe actually flows better than Crooked Hillary. Crooked Joe! Wow, I know some people don't like this, the name calling. It works. Lighten up. It's politics. It's perfectly acceptable. Most of the time, the candidates pay other people to do it. I just love it. I love the candor. And oh, by the way, it's true about Joe. And so is this.
You think at least one time he'd get up and say, I'm running for president. Where am I going? Where the hell am I going? I want to get out. Oh, no, over there. A prepackaged video that took supposedly 7 takes to get it right, if right is what you want to call it. In it, he says he's running because Trump and MAGA pose a threat to democracy. Can you believe it?
It was funny because it's true. All right, you realize, what, 3 weeks ago, it seems like decades ago, they pulled that totally now irrelevant stunt of indicting Donald Trump, right? They thought it would hurt him. They thought this is going to take him out. Well, it only made him stronger. Funny how often it works out that way. Now, I see the hand of God, quite frankly. God can turn any situation, no matter how bad, into something magnificent. Now, there is free will, but God is in control of everything, I believe. Now, how do you think Tucker's enemies feel about his social media numbers? He doesn't need any Fox News network. Take a look. 50, what? That's gone up since just a little while. 57.8 million. Wow. Look, the government was leaning very hard on Fox, on Rupert Murdoch, the owner of the company, after Tucker's reporting of January 6th. And for you Fox fans or former Fox fans, you have to understand this about billionaires like Rupert Murdoch. They're jealous. They're jealous of other billionaires and really jealous of Trump. Jealousy is a huge factor in business and political life. It hardly ever gets talked about. Yeah, jealousy. Because this is a little bit about what Rupert Murdoch thinks of Donald John Trump. In public and behind the scenes, he's always bad-mouthing him. When is Donald Trump going to stop embarrassing his friends, let alone the whole country? And it's been worse behind the scenes. Oh, he's going to be irrelevant. You know, he's been predicting the demise of Trump for a long time, and he's always wrong. And he's always bringing on people like, well, never Trumpers, like Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan is on the board of News Corp. And about a year ago, Paul Ryan offered his political genius. You know, he gets paid about $100,000 a pop for stuff like this.
I think Trump's unelectability will be palpable by then. We all know that he will lose, or let me put it this way. We all know that he's so much more likely to lose the White House than anybody else running for president on our side of the aisle. So why would we want to go with that? So the only reason he stays where he is because everybody's afraid of him.
You might be. I guess you're speaking for yourself. Paul Ryan doesn't understand America. He doesn't understand MAGA. He doesn't understand Trump. And by the way, what does he do? What is technically his job? Because he's got a bunch. He's not just on the board over there at News Corp. His job is, on his Twitter page, this is what it says: Office of the 54th Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan. That's kind of funny because now we're on the 56th speaker, but he goes around, he's the 50. He left Congress 7 years ago, but he's still that. You know how it works, right? You sell it, and you sell out. All right, now back to Fox News. The sins of Fox News. Not just getting rid of Tucker, all right? I think it calls for a recap here. Remember when they called Arizona at like 7 at night on election night? That impacted history. And I do believe that the bosses upstairs wanted that. How about the phony story that Trump was cracking jokes about military war heroes in a cemetery? Totally untrue. The Atlantic, the original story, no sources, no on-the-record sources, and look at what Fox News did. The cheapest trick in the book.
My sources include two senior former Trump administration officials who were on the trip to France where these remarks allegedly were made. They confirmed key parts of the Atlantic article and certainly described a pattern of behavior by the president in describing war veterans and wounded warriors that coincides with the description in the Atlantic article.
Kind of couching your language there a little bit. Coincides, key points, general patterns. This is fake news. This is the swamp for you. And remember, what was it? The January 6th stuff and Cassidy Hutchinson. Do you remember her? It seems like ancient history now. This was somebody who worked in the Trump White House and said, well, Tony told me something Bill said, and Bill saw Harry with Trump, and crazy stuff, crazy stuff. I was making fun of it on Twitter, everywhere else. Nobody believed it except Fox News.
This testimony was very compelling from beginning to end. She obviously had access to all of the players. What was so compelling, I think, is how it was laid out. We always point out that there's not a pushback, and it would have been great to hear Jim Jordan or some congressman say some other angle to this, but the testimony in and of itself is really, really powerful.
You need Jim Jordan to tell you what hearsay evidence is, right? Cassidy heard from Tony, who heard from some guy named Bobby that this happened. Hearsay evidence. Jim Jordan, you got to get that guy to do your homework. It was ludicrous. I was making fun of it in real time on Twitter and on this network. What else has Fox done? Well, you can't find Trump on it, all right? He's essentially been banished. They never cover Trump anymore. That's really something. But maybe the worst thing they did was unleashing Wallace, Chris Wallace, letting him do, well, the boss's dirty work at the 2020 debate. Have you ever seen this all put together? You know, Joe Biden had real vulnerabilities, right? The laptop, everything. I mean, it's huge. What happened?
I'm going to ask a question about race. Let's please continue on. The issue of race. And my question for the two of you is, why should voters trust you rather than your opponent to deal with the race issues facing this country over the next 4 years? Vice President Biden, you go first. All right. I want to return to the question of race. Do you believe that there is a separate but unequal system of justice for blacks in this country? President Trump, I'd like to continue with the issue of race. Please. I promise we're going to get to the issue of law and order in a moment. Fine. This month, your administration directed federal agencies to end racial sensitivity training that addresses white privilege or critical race theory. Why did you decide to do that, to end racial sensitivity training? And do you believe that there is systemic racism in this country, sir? What is radical,
and he would know.
What is radical totally about racial sensitivity training, sir?
Nobody's doing
And it went
that.
on like this, all right? All about race, always interrupting, playing interference for Joe Biden. It's crazy. And look, the guy needed to be fired as soon as he walked off the stage. Instead, what happened to him? What happened to Chris Wallace when he walked off the stage? Well, Mr. Wallace flew home from Cleveland at an airport there on a private jet. He accepted a glass of champagne from Lachlan Murdoch and Suzanne Scott, the people in charge of Fox News. Isn't that wild, huh? Because they really don't care about the country. They've got enough money. They're set. It doesn't matter if there's anarchy. It doesn't matter if there's transgender people trying to seduce children. They're in the party. The party. Not the Democrat Party, not the Republican Party, the party, right? They're on the list, and they always will be. The rest of us, we have to deal with all this stuff. Here's another reason why you should say bye-bye to Fox News. They're just terrible at what they do. Do you remember when Donald Trump declared for president in 2015? I mean, everybody was so dismissive of him. Not only at Fox, I mean, everywhere. They just thought this was they thought it was a great big joke. Remember?
Do not underestimate the Castro-esque absurdity of what we just endured. I mean, this was basically a speech that was 50% how rich and successful and that Donald Trump was.
I don't know where to begin. That went on and on and on,
Right.
Typical Trump fashion. He never really knows when to make the early exit.
Kept fact checkers very busy and, of course, provided plenty of fodder for America's late night comedians. But they aren't the only people treating Trump's run as a joke. The consensus among political observers has been that while his candidacy is great entertainment, it's terrible for politics.
All right, so I was actually there. I took the trouble to actually go to the speech. There I am, and about 5 rows back. Okay, that's my head. I recognize my hairline. And somebody came up to me right after the speech, and they asked me what I thought, and I told them.
I think he might be a game changer in this race. Listen to that speech. It's going to go over well in certain precincts in Iowa, New Hampshire. This is a big deal. This is not a joke.
I'm proud of that as well. And it's not because I'm smart. It's not because I like politics or anything like that. Actually, it's because of the United States military. Thankfully, I joined the military, and I spent 9 years after college in the Marine Corps, living all over the country and actually going all over the world. It was a great experience. People say, thank you for your service. I thank America. It was so great. I got to know America. I didn't hang around with media people. And media people are some of the strangest, weirdest, totally obsessed, self-obsessed. I don't get them. I never will. They have, deep down, their families love them, and everybody's a child of God, but they are very weird. Anyway, that's a little bit about what happens here on The Greg Kelly Show. I'll be right back.